Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing your money is suddenly half of what it was yesterday. Same job, same bank account, same numbers on the screen, but everything costs twice as much. No vote was held, no warning was given, no one asked you. And yet, this happens all the time. Because the value of money is not decided by you, not by voters, not even directly by governments. So who decides it? And why are you never invited into the room? Right now, this question matters more than it has in decades. Inflation headlines, currency fears, central bank meetings watched like sporting events. People sensing something is off, but not quite knowing where to look. We're told money is stable. We're told experts are in control. We're told the system is too complex to explain simply. That last part is the lie. So let's slow everything down, strip away the jargon, and walk through how money actually gets its value, step by step, in plain language. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Start with a simple question. What gives money value? Most people answer with instinct. Gold, trust, the government, the economy. All partly true, all incomplete. Money has value because everyone agrees it does. That's the short version. But agreement doesn't happen naturally. It's enforced, maintained, managed, sometimes manipulated. Go back a few hundred years, money was physical. Gold coins, silver bars, heavy, limited, hard to fake. If you owned it, you controlled it. If a king wanted more money, he needed more gold or higher taxes, both unpopular. That constraint mattered. Then something changed. Banks realized people didn't want to carry gold everywhere, so they stored it and gave out paper claims instead. Notes that said essentially, this paper represents gold you can redeem later. At first, it was honest, one note for one amount of gold. Then banks noticed something uncomfortable. Most people never came to redeem their gold. So banks did something clever and dangerous. They issued more paper claims than gold they actually had. As long as people didn't all show up at once, it worked. That idea never went away. It evolved. Fast forward to today, your money isn't backed by gold at all. It hasn't been for decades. What you have now is called fiat money, money by decree. It has value because the state says it does, and because taxes must be paid with it, and because debts are settled with it, and because the financial system is built around it. But here's the key part. Most money today isn't created by governments printing bills. It's created by banks, quietly, digitally, instantly. When a bank gives a loan, it doesn't hand out existing money. It creates new money. Numbers appear in an account. That's it. No vault opened, no pile moved. This means the total amount of money in the system expands and contracts based on lending. And who controls that process? Banks, central banks, financial regulators, not voters. Now entered the central bank, the quiet institution most people barely think about until something breaks. Central banks don't answer to elections. They're designed that way, independent, insulated, supposedly neutral. Their main tool is interest rates. Interest rates are the price of money. Lower them and borrowing becomes easy. Money floods the system. Spending rises. Asset prices inflate. Raise them and borrowing slows. Money tightens. Spending falls. Recessions appear. By adjusting one number, central banks influence how much money exists, where it flows, and who benefits. That's not theory, that's mechanics. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. When new money enters the system, it doesn't spread evenly. It goes somewhere first. Banks, financial markets, governments, large institutions. By the time it reaches wages and everyday prices, asset owners are already ahead. This is why stock markets can boom while people feel poorer. This is why housing becomes unaffordable even when productivity rises. Money changes value not evenly, but sequentially, and you are usually last in line. Now ask yourself this. When the central bank meets behind closed doors and decides to raise or lower rates, whose interests are being balanced? Inflation targets, employment metrics, financial stability? All abstract, all aggregated. There is no checkbox for your grocery bill, no vote for your rent, no direct representation for your savings. You don't get a say because the system was built to avoid public pressure, because money decisions are politically explosive, and because those in charge believe technocrats know better than crowds. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're catastrophically wrong. Look at history. Every major inflation episode follows the same pattern: crisis, emergency measures, money expansion, justified as temporary, becomes permanent. Each time, the value of money quietly erodes, not overnight, slowly enough that people argue about causes instead of outcomes. Prices rise, savings lose power, debts become easier to carry for governments. That last part matters. Inflation is a transfer from savers to borrowers, from wages to assets, from the public to the state. No conspiracy required, just math. And the math is hidden behind language, stimulus, liquidity, support, words that sound helpful while reshaping purchasing power. This is where the irony sits. We live in democracies. We vote on leaders, on laws, on taxes. But the single most important force shaping your economic reality, the value of money itself, is almost entirely outside democratic control. You can protest fuel prices, you can argue about wages, you can debate budgets, but the money system operates on a different layer, above politics, below public awareness. Now zoom out. Globally, currencies compete, not just on strength, but on trust. Governments know this. Central banks know this. If trust breaks, value collapses fast. That's why narratives matter, confidence matters, stability theater matters. Because money isn't just numbers, it's belief, backed by force, managed by institutions, constrained by nothing physical. That makes it powerful and fragile. So why don't you get a vote? Because if everyone voted on money, the system would face constant pressure to create more of it, to spend now, to delay pain, to smooth reality. Short-term comfort would destroy long-term value. At least that's the argument. But the cost of removing public voice is alienation, confusion, a growing sense that the rules are changing without consent. People feel it even if they can't explain it. That feeling isn't ignorance, it's intuition. Money is supposed to be a measure, a tool, a neutral reference. But when the measure itself keeps shifting, everything else feels unstable. Careers, savings, plans, futures. So here's the quiet question we end on. If money's value is decided by systems you never vote on, rules you never read, and institutions that answer to no electorate, how stable is that agreement really? And what happens the moment enough people stop believing in it?